My name is Freddy Castillo. I am a member of the neighborhood campus where we have been attending for almost 2 years. I grew up in Colombia, South America, in the coastal city of Barranquilla. It's kind of an industrial town, and basically learned. I learned my English in school. I went to bilingual school. That's where I learned English, and from early on, my parents had an idea of sending me overseas to study at least, but with the ultimate goal of kind of staying permanently in the States. So we found a couple of opportunities for me to come here for high school, freshman year and senior year. And after that, it was a pretty easy decision for me and for my parents to stay here in terms of applying to college and whatnot. So that was kind of, I lived in Cleveland, and I lived in McAllen, Texas, before moving to Wheaton College for my college. So I graduated from Wheaton College with a computer science degree in 2002. I met Ruth in 2001, and we met in an oceanography class, and we hit it off really well since the first time we met, and we got married in 2007. We live in the Uptown neighborhood, and we've been there ever since we got married, and we love the Uptown neighborhood. I grew up in a Christian home, and from very early on, we attended church, and so it was a big part of growing up. I remember when I was about eight years old at a church camp is when I really had my first close encounter with Jesus and the Holy Spirit during a prayer meeting. So we were little kids, but it was still a very meaningful experience, and I feel that was one of the many steps of getting closer to Jesus. And so that's kind of the earliest moment when I remember having a personal connection with Jesus. It has been Jesus that has put certain things along the way in my life that have made me appreciate and love Him even more. And I can tell you that Ruth is part of that. Finding the Evanston Vineyard has been another big part of it. I see Him working in my life on a daily basis in terms of just helping me appreciate and love people around me, and wanting to help people out more. I feel like there was a period of time, maybe like 3, 4, 5 years ago, where I was away from Jesus, not as close as I am now. And part of that was not being with the right community. So I was always seeking Him in terms of trying to find those connections that would really help me get closer to Jesus. We found roots very quickly, and I can tell you that it was for us. It was the small setting. We were coming from a church where we had a hard time connecting with the members, with the congregation, and we found a group of people that were very welcoming, that really embraced us from the very beginning, and we immediately connected with them. So not just the pastor, Renee, but like just the church as a whole really embraced us. So it was a really great experience to find this new campus and just be a part of something that was just starting out, but also with things that were familiar to us. Pretty early on, maybe a few months after I started, Bruce Cunningham asked me he asked if I was interested in being part of the audio team. He knows that I'm a technical guy. I work in IT, and to me, that's something that it's interested me, but I never had someone kind of step out and say, "Hey, would you like to be a part of this?" I wasn't quite at the point where I was going to volunteer. So it was a phone call, and he just said, "Hey, do you want to get involved with the audio team?" So I started helping out doing audio Sunday mornings. After a while of doing that, Bruce asked me to take over the scheduling and leading the sound team, so that he could focus more on the worship aspect of it, and I could handle more of the administrative, running the audio team. So that's where I've been helping out for over a year now. We've been a part of small groups since we joined the church. The first chance we could, we joined a small group. It's actually my first time joining a small group. And we are just now this week starting our first small group at home. So yeah, it's our first time leading a small group. So we're excited about it. We are excited that we're going to be seeing some familiar faces from the neighborhood campus, but also we have some new faces joining us that found us on the website. I love budgeting. I love anything to do with finances and things like that. So that's I feel like that's a good fit for me, and I also tend to be when it comes to decisions around finances and things like that, I think a sensible guy, because I have struggled with financial debt many years ago that I got out of. So that's something that I think gives me a unique perspective on when it comes to those areas. I think that I'm very excited about I'm very excited about the neighborhood. I'm very excited about what God's doing there with the community, bringing these people together that have a real passion to follow Jesus and also to bring Him to people that may not know Him or know Him as well. So that to me is a key driver to really get involved and really bring that aspect of my journey to the council and to the Evanston Vineyard.